Okay, this is episode 4 of the Buffalo Wedding Vendor video podcast, and I'm sitting here with Ali, who is a fashion designer, and she specializes in bridal. So we're gonna talk about what she does. All right. So what do you do? What services do you offer?
So here at Anatomy, I custom design wedding dresses. That means that starting from scratch, if a bride wanted, any sort of specialty kind of unique dress that she just really can't find somewhere else, I will come up with a design. We'll have a consultation. So she'll tell me what she likes, what she doesn't like, if she wants sleeves, no sleeves, whatever she wants. We'll sit down, we'll talk about it all, and then I'll do sketches for her. So I do fashion illustrations that are accompanied with swatches of fabric for samples so that she can touch them and everything. And then she picks the design that she likes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And for example, like you have a lot of background in fashion, like you went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, I think it's called, right?
I did, yes.
So just tell me kind of who you are, tell me a little bit more about that background, what you did before you opened Anatomy.
Sure. Well, I'm from Buffalo originally. I was born and raised. I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer probably in high school. So I was able to spend a summer in New York going to FIT taking classes when I was in high school, which was really wonderful. So it prepared me to get into FIT because it's pretty tough. So I went to FIT for 4 years. And once I graduated from FIT, I moved to Columbus to work at Abercrombie & Fitch. And that was really good. It was a good experience. I liked being able to get the experience of working for a really, really big company. But I knew at the end of the day, I wanted to have my own business, so I spent a few years working there, and then I moved home to start the business.
Okay, and what was your so you've been open for about I think 8 years now almost, right?
Yeah.
So did what you do change over time? What was your concept to going in with, and what is it now?
It totally changed. When I first opened, my main goal was to create a local anthropology, that store. It's like a lifestyle brand, they have furniture and they have antiques and clothing and really cool accessories, and everything is different with a big emphasis on handmade. So I wanted to do that in Buffalo, here in Buffalo. So I started, and I had a little boutique on Elmwood, was where I first opened. It was on 569 Elmwood. And I had just that. I had a collection of clothing that I designed and got manufactured in New York in a very small factory. And then I had my made-to-measure collection, thinking that I could do both, And then, of course, there was the store, and I had little accessories and all sorts of local things, too. But the custom stuff really started to pick up, and people were looking for wedding dresses, The first couple women I had that came to me, one was a gay couple, and they just wanted a really beautiful dresses that they knew that they couldn't find somewhere else, and they wanted to be a part of the creative process. And the other bride had this inspiration, but she's like, I couldn't find it anywhere, and her body type was a little bit different too. So it just started to work out, and the more that picked up, the harder it got to balance everything. So honestly, ever since then, I've just been trying to figure it all out. I got lucky enough to move here into the Hotel Lafayette, and I've changed since then as well. We've really started focusing just on bridal and reconstructions. That's something new that sort of came into the mix, I'd say, about 4 years ago. A couple of women came to me asking if I could incorporate their mother's wedding dress or their grandmother's wedding dress into their dress, or if I could just, revamp it. So the reconstructions have been really fun, and no one else really does them. So we've just sort of stuck with it. And
yeah.
Seems to be good for now. So
yeah, I think one of the dresses that you worked on was one of those, one of my first weddings here had one where it was a changed dress. I think the grandma's dress changed, and it was super cool.
Yes. Yeah. That's a perfect example. She loved her. It was so special for the whole family, and her mom and her sisters and everybody came for the fittings and stuff. And it's just so special to be able to see something that was either worn by your mother or your grandmother sort of be remade. And we always try to keep it, we try to keep the essence of the dress so that it's not completely different. But there's a whole lot that goes into it. We have to. Obviously, body types are different. Everybody was so much tinier back in the day, so we always have to do a lot of fitting and stuff. And but the details and everything come along with it, and it's just fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, do you? So I mean, I'm always amazed when I see the dresses at the Buffalo Indie weddings, like bridal shows. Mm-hmm. So they're like very different from what you typically expect from a wedding dress, I would say.
Totally.
Or what I'm used to. So can you kind of describe your style in a little more detail, like what you focus on?
Yeah. So because I work with clients individually, one-on-one, I really get to explore their style. You know, they come to me because they know that I'll of course execute the dress of their dreams, but they get their own input into it, you know? So when it comes to my specific style, that's also kind of always evolving, and it's always changing because depending on who I'm working with, you know? I've made wedding dresses that are deep red color, and then one was bluish with like beading and stuff in it. But I guess if there's one thing that's kind of the same overall, they're just very feminine and distinct, you know? Like when someone leaves wearing a wedding dress here, you know that they couldn't have got it at a store, you know? There's just like something that's a little bit different about it. So.
Yeah, sounds great. You do like a lot of different things too. So besides the Buffalo Indie weddings, like you teach at Buff State. Tell me a little bit about that.
I do, yes. So my partner Erica, she's a photographer as well. We run Buffalo Indie Weddings together. And in addition to that, I teach at Buffalo State, like you said. So I teach classes there. I teach fashion illustration and draping. And it's really, really fun. Teaching isn't something that I thought I would be good at or like, because I'm really impatient. But it's been really helpful with my own craft and even having employees, you know, just like getting used to working with other people and understanding how other people, how to communicate with other people, you know, because like you're a sole business owner as well, you usually just work on your own. Yeah. So sometimes you kind of like forget that you're talking to, you need to be nice to people sometimes, you know, like, because you're so used to just like working in the way that you work. So it's nice to have a reminder at least. Yeah. But it's nice, it's wonderful. It's also really rewarding, you know, because the students that are really, really into it, they make it so worth it because you get to see their work at the end of the year, and it can blow you away. Yeah,
yeah, that's definitely true. Like if you work for yourself, sometimes if there's like any kind of issue, I'd always try to just talk to a few other people that are also in the industry to give me a different input on it, or maybe sometimes even somebody who's not in the industry. So there, I can like see what's their take on it. Is it like a good thing? Is like the solution that I came up with really a good idea or not? Like that's definitely crucial sometimes.
Especially when you work for yourself, I think you need that sounding board for sure. I have some people too that help with that as well outside of the industry, because there's really not a whole lot of other people in the industry like me. Exactly. There's other people that own bridal shops, but none that actually make them. So. That's difficult to find.
Yeah, you definitely have a unique business model in a way that it's a completely different shop than, if you go to like one of the chains, obviously it's completely different. And then even smaller shops, like they usually are going to be, I don't know, just like different. They just have a different offering. Like it's, I guess, like way more personal. I would guess like that's the main benefit.
The whole experience is totally different, and the product is different, you know? One of the things that a lot of brides will say after I'm finished making the dress is, it's so lightweight. And I laugh and I'm like, I know, your wedding dress doesn't have to be 100 pounds. Because I don't know if you've ever carried a wedding dress before, but they get really heavy.
Pretty much every wedding when I hang out the dress for the one shot.
So you know. Mm-hmm. But nowadays too, the styles of dresses are changing a bit, and there's really cool like indie shops that are popping up, that have really different designer dresses too, and they are a little bit less structured. But the experience is different. You really have to, if somebody wants to have a custom-made dress, because it's not for everybody either. I've had people that can't look at a picture and they're not comfortable with it. They need to try it on first. So this really wouldn't be right for them. But you have to have some vision. You have to be adventurous, and I think a creative person as well, because it's such a different process. Seeing the dress in stages, piecing it together. But I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of touched on Buffalo Indie Weddings. Tell me a little bit more about how you're involved there. You co-founded with Erica, you said.
Yeah, so Erica and I had all these mutual friends that kept on telling us we needed to meet. So finally we met and we scheduled, we did a styled photo shoot together. And in this shoot, we kept on going back to this idea of this new bride that we were working with, you know, like that she's already has a house, right? Like her and her fiance probably already live together. They might even have a kid. They are, you know, really pioneering in their own work, right? They're like leading the way in their jobs, and they're just different, you know? They really care about local as a big aspect for the wedding, you know? For everything really, you know, they try to do as much local as they can. And so we were just sitting down talking about this, and well, how do we meet this person? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really do a whole lot for marketing when it comes to, you know, getting the word out there for myself, and she didn't either. Most of the business is word of mouth. So she was like, I wish we could just do like our own bridal show, you know? And I was like, let's just do it. That'd be so much fun. So yeah, we threw it together. It was our first event was on a Thursday evening, I think in 2013. And we just asked a lot of our friends in the wedding industry, do you guys want to do this bridal show? We're going to try to make it really cool and different and fun, you know, and not like a cattle call like some of the traditional events are. And I've tried a traditional event myself, you know, one of the really, really big ones, and I just got swallowed, you know. Plus, nobody there really cared about what I did, you know. A lot of, I think, the hype and everything with these big bridal shows, it just, people aren't really looking to make that connection. I think a lot of times they're just trying to find the best deal because that's what they've become, you know. You go to these big shows and everyone's trying to give stuff away to get more business. But I want to work with clients who are like interested in the whole experience, right? And they like the fact that you're a family, right? Yeah. Like when they hire you for the wedding, that they're supporting you and your family. And I've heard that from a lot of our brides too. So all these things were like buzzing in our head, and it just made sense to do our own event. So we did, and it was really fun. We had a lot of people show up, and we were like, whoa, we got to do this again, you know? So that's also just sort of been an evolution to where we are now.
Yeah, what you were saying about that is really like true, that I always tell couples, okay, look at like if you choose a photographer or videographer, just look at the style first. Once you like the style, just make sure you try to meet with them or at least do a video call so you kind of feel like this is a person I would want to spend my wedding day with, because a lot of hours on the wedding day, you're going to see this person. So if you don't really like this person, you just hired him for the price of the service. Like that doesn't really make sense. It might not be a good overall experience then.
It's true. Or you don't even, you might not feel comfortable enough to even give them like authentic feedback, right? I mean, how many times have you gotten a bad haircut that you're like, oh, it's okay, I'll just like deal with it, you know? But if you had a good relationship with your hairstylist, then you could say, well, you know what, actually, I wish it was this way or that way, and then they could fix it. You know, if you don't feel comfortable enough to actually be able to have these conversations with your wedding vendors, then it's true, you won't be happy, you know? Yeah. It just makes the whole day better too.
Yeah, I mean, my experience with the Buffalo Indie Wedding show that I've done was definitely that it's way more relaxed, that it's not really about the sale, it's more about getting to know the people. Right. Like I didn't really care to, okay, I just have to make this sale like today, because I would just tell people, okay, if you want to work with me, you know, let's just meet up. Yeah. And then we talk about, I don't want to like make you sign anything just because like this moment in time, you looked at some photos of mine, you were like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Right,
because it's such a big decision to make, you know? Some things might not be as much as others when it comes to the wedding, but, you know, it's a lot of money. These people are spending a lot of money on their weddings. And like you said earlier too, like you're gonna be there for the whole day. Most of the vendors, you're gonna be there for the whole day. So it should just be enjoyable for everybody. But yeah, that whole no tacky sales pitch is really important to us for the bridal shows, because nobody likes to be spammed, right? Nobody likes to be cold called and like harassed and feel pressured to like buy something for the wedding. So that's another really big difference. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I can't wait to do the engagement party next Wednesday.
Yeah, I know, I'm excited too. It should be fun. We just like to party too, you know, just have an excuse to go out. And
you always say you want to make it feel like a cocktail party, and that's what everybody I ask, like at the last bridal show in Rochester that I filmed for you.
Yeah.
That was really what everybody was saying. It's so cool. There's like mimosa. There's a mimosa bar, a donut bar. It's like all these things, and they really enjoy having that added on to just talking to vendors they haven't talked to before. So it makes it way more casual.
It does, exactly, and that's what we want to go for. We want everyone to feel relaxed and feel confident in the decisions that they're making and hiring our members. You know.
Okay, let's go back to anatomy. Well, for the last question. So you have a lead tailor. Her name is, what is it?
Joy.
Joy.
Scribner, yes. Yep.
Who I haven't met, otherwise I would have probably know how to pronounce her name.
That's okay.
So do you want to tell me a little bit how you two work together?
Yeah, for sure. So Joy, it's been about 2 years that I've been working with her, and I just will never have enough good things to say about her. She came along at a really funny time where, you know, talking about owning your own business and figuring this stuff out on the fly, like, I knew I needed help. You know, I was at a turning point in the business and I needed to hire somebody, but I tried to bring her on right at the start of wedding season, and then I panicked. And then I was like, I can't do this right now. I was like, I'll email you, I'll get back to you, because I didn't even think about all of the other things that come along with bringing somebody in, like, showing her how these things work and how I want this done and that done and how this should be done, you know. So I think it was like maybe September when I emailed her again, and I said, I apologize, and I said, I'm so sorry if you think I'm like the biggest flake in the whole universe, but I'd love to give this another chance. We're not as busy now, so I can really, like, you know, bring you into the fold properly, you know. And she was like, of course, I'm so interested. So I'm so glad that she was, because she's crucial to the business now. You know, she really helps me pull all the weight when it comes to my time being spent, you know, with Buff State during the semester, and then Buffalo Indie Weddings as well. I couldn't run anatomy without her. So she is great, and we've become really good friends too, which is the best, because, you know, I can't, in all the jobs I've ever had, I've usually really connected well with my coworkers or my bosses and everything. And when I don't, it's really hard to work, you know, like when you don't feel like you can be friendly and professional at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, so she's just the best. And this year I also brought on an intern from Buff State. I'm working with this other young designer named Jordan, who's exceptional. And she's just really excited to get her feet wet and everything. So she's been great too. So it's wonderful. My little team. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you for asking. This is fun. Good to chat with you.
All right. Thank you.